Hello everybody, my name is Tucker, and welcome back to our Russian Fishing for Float Fishing series. Today, still at winding, thought I'd have some fun. Down here over by the campsite, I just missed that one, dang it. I can't even get everything cast out. It is a lot shallower over here than I thought, so it took me a couple of opportunities to get the right depth. So I'm at a 60 to 70 centimeter depth using red worm and small hooks, aiming for gudgeon and eyed down here. So far, have not gotten either of those. Got a little chub and a perch. Finally got all three rods cast out. I'm going to use one bottom rod today just to see how things go. Servers were very good during about 5 hours ago when I started recording the spin fishing series, so I'm hoping they stay good tonight. I know last night that was not the case, so a little concerned about that, but we'll see how it goes. I do not have premium on this account anymore. We do have a 7-day voucher for it if we wanted to use it, but I'm not currently thinking that's the right next step for us. We'll save that for a bit. We should be getting happy hour right now, though, for the New Year's special event. I thought about going over to Volkov, but after spending 2.5 hours float fishing earlier today, I'm not in the mood to try anything new tonight. Super new. So figured I'd come over here to a spot I've been before. It's been a while, but this is not a new spot to me. And I think there's our gudgeon. Yep. Been a good day for me. Spent some time on my Steam account over at Bear and actually got a U.S. regional black carp record that surprised me. Not even a trophy, and it's a U.S. regional weekly. It was a 28 kilo fish on a 12 kilo or a 15 kilo reel. That was a fun time, as you can probably imagine. Trophy gudgeon. Nice. I did not think that was going to be the case. Sorry to skip through it so quickly. I thought it was a small fish. But I will take that. Today is a good day. I've completed the New Year's event on every account that I care about. Got a trophy gudgeon. Almost got a trophy mirror carp last night on my Steam account as well. That would have been the trifecta. Weekly record ultralight gudgeon and weekly record telestick gudgeon. And weekly record gudgeon by itself. Nice. All regional. US weekly gudgeon starts with a G. 1 gram short of top for overall US. Gudgeon still starts with a G and has to be under weekly. Now we're top on ultralight. Knocked Bots off. That'll probably surprise them. And gudgeon still starts with a G. Second on telescopic. So, not a bad fish to start the day here. pretty decent day weather-wise. A little bit on the colder side, but could be a lot worse. Oh, I just missed that one. We were 30s and 40s today instead of 50s and 60s. But that's still better than negatives. Non-marker Gudgeon. I think I've got either a 6 or 8 meter clip on the bottom rod right now. But good old cell phone reminders for something I'm not going to join tonight. It's a meeting for a club I'm a part of that I don't have to join all the time. Another good Gudgeon. I think there's a fish on here. There is. That's the downside of Gudgeon, is sometimes it's hard to tell if they're on. Even the float, they were not able to pull that float down. It was just wobbling. I mean, if you think about it, I think I've got a 30-gram weight. Yeah, I've got a 30-gram weight on the bottom rod, so them being able to move it enough to jingle is not the best, but I need about that 30-gram weight or something with a sharp point on it, one of the pyramid ones, to actually stay in the ground with the current here, because obviously there's a current. It's a river, and if you watch, I cast out over there and it ends up down there, if you hadn't already realized that. Little white-eyed brain. So tomorrow, I'll probably head over to Volkov and do some fishing over there. I absolutely thought about doing that today, but I spent way too long over on my spend character, just finishing the New Year's event while I was there, while I had premium, and while one of my reels was not available anyway, being repaired. So it just made sense to spend some extra time, get it done, so I can have some fun tomorrow. It's gonna be a Volkovy day tomorrow. Another good Gudgeon. I didn't see that. Yeah, that was Gudgeon. I initially saw my weight and thought it was the fish. Wrong one. This is probably a mussel or a perch. It's a perch. And the reason I said that is the way it just took off running. You may have seen the float kind of do a jiggle there. That's what told me there was a fish on. It was a small gun. Not a small gun, a small gudgeon. He talk good some days. Another white-eye bream, I think. Nope, little gibble. I did not look at cafe orders or anything like that before I got started today. I just saw the spot up on VK and thought I haven't been here in a while. Gudgeon fishing sounds like fun. And so far I've been correct. If you do float fish gudgeon, obviously you want to use lighter floats just because they won't be able to pull on the bigger floats to tell you they're on. Just like you want on feeder fishing to have the lightest quiver tip you can. If you don't know what I mean there, that's not G. The quiver tip setting is up here. I missed it. Oh, I was showing off quiver tip settings. Giggity. The good news is as you change the quiver tips, they actually change colors, so I don't have to look at that menu every time. The light one's a green one, the middle one's a yellow, and the heavy one's kind of an orangey yellow. Next time I bring the next time I reel it in, I'll show that. That's what I'm trying to say. Trying to concentrate on 3 lines and talk. Doesn't always work. Small gudgeon. Marker gudgeon. Oops. So again, green one, yellow, and then you can even see it there how it kind of turns orange. That's how you can tell which quiver tip you have on. And some rods will have even more than 3. And you do want to kind of set it towards the size of fish you're hoping to catch. Because if I'm going for big fish and I have the light one on, they can move it around so much that easily that you may think there's a bite when there's not. And the reverse is true as well too, whereas if I have it set on the heavy one right now, that's 56 grams, and most of these gudgeon can't put 56 grams of force into the line. I didn't mean to drink twice, but I'm okay with it. think it was 56. Yeah, 56. Yeah, that was a 31 gram gudgeon, so it would not be enough to even jingle the bells. That reminds me, on my spin account, I got a flashing light, and I want to send that over to my Steam account. Because I probably will never use the flashing light for video recording, but I would use it for AFK fishing on my Steam account or fishing during work meetings so that I don't have to have a headset on or an earpiece in. I'm watching Rod 3. I think there might be a small fish on it. There's a fish on one there. I don't know if you saw the little wobble. Nice gudgeon. That's a nice nace. 504 gram nace. $23 fish in 17 minutes. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. And I took my eyes off the screen for a second and missed that fish. I'm starting to like that float more. I may have to look and see if there's additional ones like it. Non-marker. Don't think this is a gudgeon. I don't know what this is. Perch? Yep. Marker gudgeon. Fish on one. What told me that was a float just stopped moving. So there was a fish that had enough swimming force to stop it swimming upstream, but not enough to pull it down. Uh-oh. This is a chub, I think. Yep, marker chub. And the uh-oh was because it was pulling stronger than I expected. Almost more than the line could take. That's part of why I backed up, so that when it popped out of the water, if it popped out of the water, it would land on land and we could get it. Actually, the more I think about it, this spot is an old crayfish spot of mine as well too, using similar baits and everything like that. So I may just stay here through the night. See if we can't get some freshwater crayfish. That's the wrong one, Tucker. Completely pressed the wrong button, picked up the wrong rod. Probably would have done that in real life and said the same thing in real life. It's either a mussel or a perch. Nice river mussel. Both mussels and perch shoot off like that. Another river mussel. 98-gram river mussel. What do we have here? River mussel? Yep, 59-gram river mussel. Those are somewhat rare on float, so that's possible that it could be a float or ultralight record. I doubt it because that was a pretty small one, but we'll see. Snacking on some gelato that was frozen completely solid in my freezer. And it's still, I mean, I've been recording for 23 minutes and it's still just barely able to be moved with a utensil. It was right up next to the vent. I'm not entirely surprised, especially with how cold it was last week. And this specific flavor's always been a little more solid than some of the others that I've had by the same brand. Had some very good curry last night and ordered a second batch for this morning for lunch. So I'm not super hungry. Ah, fish fell off. I missed that one. I think there's something on 3. I'm willing to try. There's not. Just hanging a little bit weird. Knew it wasn't a guarantee, but it was worth a try. That was too early. I know that one was my fault. I don't blame that one on the game at all. 32 fish, 25 and a half minutes. Not bad. And a trophy. But that might be our first trophy gudgeon, honestly. That's not, oh, we're not a mosquito. 113. And the one we caught. That wasn't on. The one we caught was 113. That was either our first or our biggest trophy gudgeon so far. Another chub, I think. Yep. This is another great spot for chub using grasshoppers. But I'm not going to put grasshoppers on and go for chub here with ultralight rods. With the bottom rod, I could. With the ultralight rods, no way. Ah, come on. I missed one. Taking a bite of food. And then I don't know why I missed the second one. Tiny gudgeon. Huh. It actually just popped up that river mussel was a weekly record ultralight. Again, the float wasn't moving at the right speed. That's what told me there was something on it. Float's wobbling. Oh, that might have been just dragging on the ground. Uh-oh. Nope, we're good. Nice Dace. That's a surprise. $242-gram Dace. For 4,000 experience points as well. Mussel or perch. Or maybe chub. Nope, it was a mussel. I thought there was something on. I wasn't sure though. Oh, come on. There was a fish on there. again, keep in mind, I've already done 2.5 hours of float fishing concentration today, so I'm a little bit worn out and a little bit easily irritated because of that. Volga Xander on. All right. I have no idea how big those get. But that might be a rare stick and or float. Even if it was tiny. That's one of those that can be a regional record weekly just because it's a rare fish. Hate that it changes at every time. It's not an ultralight weekly, at least all region. Might be US because not many people do ultralight in the US. 57 is a weekly telescopic US. And Volga. Alright, so it's not an ultralight, but it probably was a weekly telescopic. Nope. Thought there was a fish on. I think it's Sing Sao. I think that's how you'd say that name. Just got a trophy roach, if I know correctly. Oh, wow. Weekly record ultralight Dace. Weekly record telestick Dace. Weekly record Bolgazander telestick. Weekly record Dace. All regional, but surprised at 242 gram Dace is a weekly record in the US. This must have been not a lot of people catching them this week. Decent river mussel. Another small white-eyed bream. That's 3, that's not 2. Picked up the wrong rod and started reeling it. Nice gudgeon. because I did that, I'm just gonna recast this bad boy. Especially since there's no ground bait involved. Keep in mind, you do use if you do float fish with or not float fish, feeder fish with a cage on, you do use a ground bait ball every time you cast. Same thing with PVA later on. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something to keep in mind. Especially if you're trying to calculate your expenses and all that. Oh, I might have just been knocked off the black card boards there by Angel. I'll have to look. I think mine was bigger than that, though. I thought mine was 24 kilo. $23,583, so I'm almost been knocked off. I was third place when I got it earlier today. About 8 hours ago. It was around lunchtime. Actually, I know it was around lunchtime because I had to convince the four-legged thing to let me bring the fish in before I fed him. He was starting to complain that I was late, and he was correct. I swear this dog can tell time. If I have not fed him by noon, he starts barking, and then I've got basically a conference call thing that I do that ends at 5:45 every day. And between 5:40 and 5:45, he comes over, and he can tell when I'm wrapping it up and starts barking happily because we usually go for a WALK afterwards. Crayfish. Not an amazing one, but those can be kind of rare to catch float fish, so we'll see. Nice white eye bream, 279 gram. Trying to decide if the fish is actually on bottom rod or not. Mainly because it's probably a small fish, small gudgeon. Or a rough that may not be able to ring the bell all the time if it's actually on. It may not be able to pick up the float. Probably some form of a bream. Yep. Just the way the float tipped over. First bottom fish, white-eye bream, and more weekly records. Weekly record ultralight white-eye bream, and weekly record white-eye bream telestick. Still regional, nothing global. Wonder if I still have the blue bream global that I had earlier. Honestly, haven't looked. Brain just thought of that right now. Another small white eye. I missed it. I don't know if you all could see it, but the rod tip went down right as I started casting. So something grabbed it, pulled it under, and then let go. Nope, we lost the weekly record. That might have been on ultralight weekly. Yeah, looks like we lost that. Unless it was a telescopic. I honestly can't remember. Either way, we no longer have a global weekly record, which I expected to be the case, honestly. Combination, I wasn't sure if there was something on it, and I just wanted to reset it anyway. Just because it had been there for a little bit. 51.2 on the bait digging, or bait harvesting, or bait crafting, whatever. Bait harvesting baits. $45 minutes, I think 49 fish if I'm reading it correctly. Eyes are kind of tired today. Yeah, it's 49. Not too bad. A lot of good fish too. And if I remember correctly, gudgeon are pretty expensive fish. We'll obviously see here in a little bit, but oh, should have been 50 fish there. I missed that one while looking at the other float. Darn it. That was me trying to not say words that rhyme with Tucker. Starting to get angry. Starting to get angry. There we go. Baby Dace. I didn't say we're down by the campsite, so we've got about as far of a run as possible to get back to town to sell everything. Almost to the point where it's almost quicker to log out and back in. I swear I'm starting to see things. Which again, for 3 hours of float fishing, of telestick float fishing too, I'm not surprised. Pour 3-0, just met a pike. Time to see how Sing Sao's fishing. He's telestick fishing, he just got a bigger. Oh wait, that's an ace, I misread it. I read it as a Dace. Another marker Gudgeon. 52 fish. That's a miss. That was my fault. Picked up the wrong rod. I saw the boat wobbling around as much as it was, kind of tilting forward and back, and thought there was something on it, but I was wrong. That's a lot of sirens. I don't know if the mic picks it up, but I can hear. I don't live too far from both a fire station and the city police academy and one of the main stations, so I hear a fair amount of sirens on a regular basis. The police academy is actually 2-3 miles from me. I like how one time I was driving home in the middle of the night after working an overnight event, 2, 3, 4 in the morning, something like that. And they thought they had closed a road because there's a big park right next to the police academy as well. They thought they had closed a park and they hadn't. And all of a sudden, I'm driving down the road and here comes the SWAT team across the road. And they thought the road was closed as well too, so ended up having a bunch of firearms aimed right at me. And training officers going, I guess we didn't close that direction. And I've got my hands up, turning the lights on inside my car. It was one of those very respectful both ways. They apologized. They did what they should have done, honestly. They thought it was part of the exercise. None of the firearms were actually loaded. But I spent my fair share of time around police officers having a good time. Between high school friends, dad was a cop, and then I had some friends in college that were in the police academy, and they actually did a how do you detect a drunk driver class where I got to be basically there was a giant skid pad out at the local racetrack, and the cops rented it out for a day and put up a bunch of cones and a course on it, and brought a couple people from their house to the racetrack, drove them there, and put various amounts of alcohol in front of them and said, drink this, blow into the, this is a good fit. No, this is a perch. Thought this is Gudgeon. You know, drink this, blow into the breathalyzer, go drive your typical driver's ed car that has not only a chicken brake, but it actually had 2 steering wheels as well. And the officer that was in the car with you could flip a switch and take full control away from you. And I had your typical 20-year Irish cop vet in the car with me, and started driving around. They gave me a bottle of whiskey, and I went through about 3/4 of it in an hour before getting in the car. Again, controlled environment, separate person who could hit the brakes. We weren't on the roads, and not one of the rookies pulled me over. The lieutenant had me blow a second time, and then told me to get back behind the wheel again. Evidently, we're an hour into it because there's happy hour. And the sergeant, Irish cop, was like, "No, laddie, I don't need to get back in the car with him. He's fine." So the lieutenant, who was training everybody, made me drive again to see if he would have pulled me over, and he didn't. And then he showed me that I was blowing a 0.16, 0.17, something like that. I can't remember exact values. It's been 10, 15 years now. 20 years, crap. Not quite 20. It's been over 15 years. And I'm double the legal limit. And I was fine driving. But don't do that. I was rear-ended by a drunk driver when I was a kid. She almost died because of it, but luckily, because I had my seatbelt on, I was fine. So do not drink and drive or anything like that. But it was fun doing that in a controlled environment, and also fun being given the bottle of whiskey to take home, being driven home in the back of a police car, drinking that bottle of whiskey and leaving the empty bottle in the back of the police car. I'm sure someone saw that driving and got a good laugh. So we ended up with 59 fish in an hour. Not too bad. 59 fish. I'm going to say 108 silver. 108. Before any cafe orders. Ooh, only 64. Gudgeon are not worth what I thought they were. At all. Yeah. The Dace was worth more than the trophy Gudgeon. I thought the Gudgeons were 5 silver when they were 3. Ouch. This was not as good of a day as I thought it would be. No crucians, no frogs. 1 gibble. I don't think we got any crucians, no. No sleeper, no rough, no bleak. We only got 1 Dace. So yeah, nothing for the cafe today either, but honestly a decent amount of fish. That Dace was a surprise. We did get the trophy Gudgeon. Surprised there's not a river mussel order. There's almost always a river mussel order. So we'll take the 65 silver, and then again tomorrow, thinking Volkov, do something a little bit different. Do some Dace fishing over there maybe, but either way, I appreciate everyone watching. We'll be back again tomorrow. Hope y'all have a good one, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye now.